I don't think people do what they love. I think they learn or inspired to love what they do. People have always told me, you're so lucky, you've always loved what you did. And if you look back, do you think I really love selling legal research online? That was my dream when I was 5 years old. That's what I love to do. No, I learned to be inspired. I learned to take my possibility and make it a probability. So you got to know your what, you got to know your why, make those possibilities your probabilities, and then every single speech I take is the most important part that nobody talks about, especially when you get to this woo-woo stuff, this spiritual stuff. I'll tell you what's the most important thing is how. Right? How are you going to do it? Most people think that happiness is enough, regardless of how much money they have, what relationships they have, what they've achieved. They think that happiness is enough even over their health. And so I started raising the stakes to be happy. And I believed that my happiness would be achieved by consistent, every day, persistent, without quit, pursuit of my potential. People don't realize is that when we let our ego get in our way, ego is the loss, the fear of loss. So need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be hurt, fearful. When that trajectory changes, what happens is you continually go the wrong way. So my job as a coach is to say, let's get into the enjoyment of the direct pursuit of my potential. Right? And so when the light went on, it was not about the potential of making money and being an entrepreneur, which is one of my specialties. And I said to him, look, this is an opportunity now to show how great you really are. We can't let the outside voices, right, determine our success. The happiness that we have comes within. Why are you going to give that control to somebody else? And I came up with 4 really valuable things that I took stock in. And the first one was gratitude. Simple gratitude. Although I grew up with nothing, I was always grateful. Throughout the whole process of consistently, persistently pursuing my potential, I was grateful. It made my past better, my present brighter, and my future even brighter than that. In fact, I tell people all the time, if you want to change your life, change your employee's life, your family life, it's very simple. 2 words, say thank you. Say thank you before you go to bed, and say thank you when you wake up. And I guarantee you, if you can do that for 30 straight days, your life will change.
You are now listening to Discover Your Potential with radio talk show host Dan Gilman, Cindy Gilman's son. So listen, participate, be inspired. Know that you can discover your potential. Here is Dan Gilman.
Hi, and welcome to Discover Your Potential. I have an extraordinary guest for you today. He is David Meltzer. He is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. David has been recognized by Variety magazine as their sports humanitarian of the year and awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. He is also the executive producer of the Bloomberg and Amazon Prime television series 2 Minute Drill and Office Hours. His life mission is to empower over 1 billion, that's 1 billion people, to be happy. This simple yet powerful mission has led him to an incredible journey to provide one thing: value. In all his content and communication, that's exactly what you'll receive. As part of that mission for the past 20 years, he's been providing free weekly trainings that empower others to be happy. And I want to welcome David Meltzer. Hi, David. Welcome to Discover Your Potential. My mother called her show over 30 years ago Discover Your Potential. Your mission of touching billions of people's lives resonate with me specifically. I followed you for so long. It's an honor and privilege to have you on. What was my mother's show?
Thank you so much for having me here. And anyone that helps me with my mission of empowering over 1 billion people to be happy is family to me. And I'm happy to be here to help others understand what potential is and how to discover it.
That's great. It's an honor. First, I did want to mention before we go into our conversation that to our audience that you have a free business training every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 12 and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can you tell us a little bit about the training?
Yeah, so for over 21 years, I've been training people for free. And I know business and personal life are interrelated. So everything from sales training to marketing, branding, podcast, speaking. But I also train, even mommy issue training I've done. I've done your ultimate ego training. I did crumbs training, stop asking for crumbs. So all of it's free, and it's all also now the Monday edition of my top podcast called The Playbook, so you can reach the replays there if you miss it. But over 50,000 people are registered every week for our trainings, and it's been just a godsend over 21 years, and has grown to be a notable way of empowering others to empower others to make money, help people, and have fun.
Oh, that's incredible. Uh, and also, your story, I just wanted to go into your story resonates with me. I'm also Jewish, and my mom raised me alone. She was divorced as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, where you were brought up, about your upbringing? I know you were in a single parent home, like myself, actually, and I won't
Sure.
get
I grew up in
all.
Akron, Ohio. My dad left when I was 5, and so we had 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl, and my mom worked 2 jobs just so we could eat. She worked as a second grade teacher and then packed my dinner in a paper bag and taught us all in the Country Squire station wagon and studied in order to adhere to a few of her philosophies, which you may be familiar with your single Jewish mom. One, doctor, lawyer, or failure. Fetus wasn't fully developed till after graduate school. She led us through 2 different rules. We had to wake up at 5 a.m., and she was a black belt in the martial art, the third degree black belt of the martial art of Jewish guilt. And so I grew up, education was my way out. The only difference between me and my siblings, who all went to the Ivy Leagues, all graduated summa cum laude, was that they were great academics and I was a great entrepreneur. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. Not that I wasn't happy, but I knew that the only way I would have complete happiness, because the only time we weren't completely happy was from financial distress. So I could relieve that by buying a house and a car, being able to handle when things broke down. I could really establish and buy happiness. And so that became my motto, that became my mission. And I put everything I could towards that mission.
That's great. Where, if you don't mind me asking, were you ever in touch with your dad, or have
I
any relation?
was, I was, especially when I was young. He was my hero. He had married a girl closer to my age than his. But when I was 10, he went from hero to zero. See, I didn't know that he was
Mm.
a deadbeat dad, that he wasn't paying child support in the 70s. But he forgot my birthday when I was 10
Oh
and
no.
then lied to me and said he didn't believe in birthdays, that he didn't forget my birthday, but he didn't believe in birthdays. And that broke my heart because he had celebrated his wife's, my siblings' birthday. And so I always thought of my dad as a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, an overseller, and a back end seller. And it wasn't until I was 30 years old that he resurfaced and, tried to save me from my own self, the self that was a genetic inheritance of his. But in the end, I spent the last 40 years of my life, the last 40 years of his life, having a relationship with
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
him.
So, but your story is incredible. You were successful, and then you mentioned you lost everything,
Yep.
and then how did you find power from within that empowered yourself to even further to become successful again, even more successful than you were when you first started?
Well, thanks to my dad when I was 30, telling me and reminding me that money doesn't buy happiness. And then my friend Rob giving me no as an answer when I invited him to the Masters. But moreover, 2 years before I lost everything,
Mm.
my wife threatened to leave me, told me that I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become. And by threatening to leave me and raising my awareness to the fact that I had grown up in a world of not enough, where I was a victim, where everything happened to me, to
Mm.
moving to, as I was a millionaire 9 months out of law school and a multimillionaire, to this world of just enough, where I was buying things to be happy, buying things I didn't need to be happy, buying different things to be happy. But even more importantly, I was buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't even like. And so once I realized that I was living in this world of just enough, I started living and taking stock of who I was and what I wanted to become. And 2 years after that, I was well prepared to lose everything, over $100 million, because I was living by my values with daily practices. Now, life wasn't perfect. It's not easy to go from 33 homes, a golf course, a ski mountain, to a rented house with rented furniture and one car, with three
Oh,
girls under 8 and one wife who's pregnant with my son. But I had a guidepost. I had clarity, balance, and focus, which created confidence, because I'd gone from a world of only one currency. That currency was money, an object of energy that I put into the flow to get what I want, to a different currency, a currency of faith, knowing that the omniscient, all powerful, all knowing being cared the same way about me that I cared about my wife and my children. And with that faith, I was able not to feel punished, but to propel myself to a better place, a better position, or put myself into a situation where everything would be even better.
hmm. Do you feel it's mindset as well? Do you think that's a big component of it?
So there's three components of it. One, absolutely mindset, right? We give meaning to everything you see. You can't find outside of yourself what you can't see inside of yourself. But it also is your heart set, the understanding that not only do I have control of my mindset, but I have control of the way I feel. And logic can't change the way I feel. Only the conscious continuum can change the way I feel. So I have control of my mindset, my heart set, and what I think, say, do, and believe, according to my quantum potential. That quantum potential, which this show is about, needs to be
Yes.
discovered through understanding the personality traits, characteristics, obsessions, and addictions that we have, an energetic as well as a genetic inheritance that has determined what our potentials are according to the objectives or milestones that we're looking at within the context of how we enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. Do we have the desire that we must be what we can be? And aggregating all of this into an accelerated pace to expand, grow, and learn, allowing us to plateau every day, not live our lives as a tube, food in, food out, food in, food out, but to plateau and grow, to expand and accelerate, to learn and find the light, the love, and the lessons through four things: gratitude, giving us perspective; empathy, forgiving ourselves for expanding, growing, and learning; accountability, giving us the control to know what we did to attract what we have into our lives; and asking ourselves, what do we learn from it? And then finally, understanding the difference between motivation and inspiration. Motivation, getting us up, getting us back up, getting us started; and inspiration, clearing the interference between us and what we already are: happy, healthy, wealthy, worthy. We don't have to go get happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. We already are. We just have to figure out what we're doing to interfere with it.
Yeah, that's great. I also love your tagline too that you mentioned. Make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. That's great. A lot of people don't have a lot of fun and they struggle to make money. And that's something I inspire to do is to touch people's lives, but you can't live abundantly, or I should say, if you don't live abundantly, how can you abundantly help others?
Yeah, you probably had a mom like mine that taught you the more you give, the more you receive. And what I think my mom
Yeah.
forgot to teach me is you can't give what you don't have. And in order to
Yes.
live in that world of more than enough of everything for everyone, in order to live, at least even for moments in limitlessness and infinity, you have to receive. And a lot of times, especially in our culture, people feel guilty receiving. They don't understand that true radical humility lies within receiving, not giving, that everybody loves to give. It's much more difficult to receive. And you can't give what you don't have, including gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability. I don't ever give someone my forgiveness because they deserve it. I do it because I deserve it. And I want forgiveness so I can give it to others. And when we realize that this is the way that the universe works, is that if I've received this, and then I've appreciated it, meaning I add value to it, it grows. And then the only way we can acquire the knowledge of what we have, the only way we can acknowledge what we have, is to give it away. And when we give it away, we now have a bigger void to fill. And
Mm.
now when we ask, it fills itself. We now appreciate it and it grows even more. Now we acknowledge it by giving it away. And this process keeps on growing and learning and loving and finding the particles of light to overcome the particles of darkness. And it all aggregates itself and accelerates itself into a much bigger, grander, abundant attitude that lives in the light of limitlessness, infinity, that you can live in the world of more than enough, not just enough where you're buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like, or even worse, the world of not enough where everything happens to you as a victim, but this abundant world when you receive and appreciate what you have, not taking for granted what other people are wishing for, not taking for granted what you're wishing for, but appreciate through gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration what you have, giving it away and growing.
I do want to mention too, Game Time Decision Making. It's your latest book. And I want to announce too that I'm giving away, there's going to be 3 lucky listeners that I'm going to give David Meltzer's book. And you could just email me here and I'll be, giving those away. Um, and I might get other requests, so I might get more books. So can you tell us about this proven playbook for positioning yourself for success?
Yeah. So, in order to position yourself for success, one, you have to take stock in who you are and know your values. For me, it's gratitude, which gives me perspective. It's forgiveness that gives me peace. It's accountability that gives me control. And it's effective communication that lives me in a light of inspiration. But I have 5 daily practices, which, by the way, I'll be happy to send to anyone, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll send these 5 daily practices. But number one, you need to know your what. If you know your what, personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise, then you will know your who. Who can I help with my what and who can help me? And once you know your what and your who, we can figure out the how with the activity we have planned, the activity we don't have planned, with the activity of sleep, with the activity we get paid for, with the activity we don't get paid for. We can create through lenses of productivity, providing value, lenses of accessibility, meaning how are we accessing what we want and how accessible are we to others, and the lens of gratitude, of course, the superpower of finding the light, the love, and the lessons in everything we do. When we are looking at what we want, who can help us, and who we can help, the how comes from those lenses that create efficiency, effectiveness, and statistical success. And once we know our what, our who, and our how, we now can determine the now. And if you do it now, you'll save twice as much time than trying to procrastinate or think about it. You'll be more efficient, effective, and statistically successful. 100% of the things you do now get done. The difference between passionate, purposeful, and profitable people is they get stuff done. So once you know your what, your who, and your how, you have the ability of prioritizing by what's most important to you, utilizing urgency as a subset. So once you know what's most important, you can make those game time decisions aligned with who you are and who you can help and how you're going to get it done most efficiently, effectively with statistical success. Know your what, your who, your how, and your now, and you'll be able to apply your why. You won't be looking for your why. You won't be searching for what other people want for you, what you don't want, or what's missing. You'll be able to apply your why in abundant capacity to be passionate and purposeful and profitable, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
That's great. And I know too, you mentioned there's a new show that's coming up on Amazon. I'd love to hear more about that as well.
Yeah, we're
Or
so blessed. I have 3 different shows. I'm the executive producer of season 7 of Elevator Pitch. I have my own shows, 2 Minute Drill, which we'll be filming season 3 in November. And we're taking applicants to win $50,000 of cash and prizes. It's on Bloomberg TV, and on Amazon Prime Video. And the newest show, not a nudist show, that's already on TV. That's the naked show, but mine's the newest show on TV. It's the first late night entrepreneur show called Office Hours, with everyone from Cameron Diaz, the Sod Guru, to Jim Quick, to Tillman Fertitta, to Rob Deerdeck, to Ja Rule. It doesn't matter. We got the billionaires, the millionaires, the entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, and all talking about business on Bloomberg and Amazon Prime Video. It starts on Bloomberg TV this Friday. Come join me every week to get the greatest and latest with billionaires, millionaires, and entrepreneurs on Office Hours.
That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Is there anything, because I know we're running out of time, but is there anything that you want to leave our listeners?
Yeah, if you're feeling anxious, depressed, frustrated, worried, angry, guilty, resentful, you need to apply your why to your life. And the best way is to remind yourself that logic is not going to change the way you feel, but I will tell you what will. I'm telling you right now to be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. By doing good deeds, by elevating your awareness and your vibration or frequency, by being more aware of the goodness that surrounds you, by finding the light, the love, and the lessons. Remember, the law of gravity says you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're healthy, happy, wealthy, and worthy. Utilize the law of Goya. Get off your ass and make it happen. And I promise you, the law of attraction and allowance will allow that to happen, that you will live not in the world of not enough, and you are not a victim, not a world in just enough, buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like, but the world of more than enough, an abundant limitlessness infinity in which there's enough of everything for everyone. And you can have all of this simply by being kind to your future self, being kind in general, and keep on doing good deeds. Share my content, get the values, get the books, get the 5 daily practices, david@dmeltzer.com. I am happy to send them to you. I appreciate the time here for everyone to discover their potential. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of that potential. Join me, david@dmeltzer.com.
Great. Thank you so much, David. I truly appreciate it and blessed that you're here.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to doing this again. Take care.
Looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
Take care. God bless your mom, too.
Oh, thank you.
This show is brought to you by Mansions and Manors. They are the leading real estate firm in Jamestown, Rhode Island. There's no one quite like Mansions and Manors. They are very supportive, they are like family, and they help you throughout the process. You can reach them directly at 401-423-7000. That's 401-423-7000. Or email them at info@mansionsandmanors.com. Now's a perfect time to find your dream home. Mention that you heard them at Discover Your Potential.
This is Cindy Gilman, and you're listening to Discover Your Potential. So until next time, do something nice for yourself, but do something nice for someone else.